You know, one of the most important elements in any star's success is public relations. We are very pleased to have with us tonight Carroll O'Connor's PR man. He's one of the biggest PRs in Hollywood. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all please welcome Mr. Foster Brooks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Martini. Many people wonder exactly what service is our public relation man provides to the star. My duties are threefold. First, it is my job to create. It's my job to create a public image for the star. And second, I have to see that the star constantly receives favorable mention in the press. And thirdly, I must see that he has plenty of broads on the road. With Carroll, the most difficult part of my job is convincing people that he is not like the character he plays in All in the Family. People are always confusing Carroll Bunker with Archie O'Connell. But of course, they're totally different personalities. Archie is a right-winger. And in the last election, Carroll was McGovern's man. At least until Eleanor McGovern made him break it up. People are always mixing up Carroll and Archie. They think Carroll hates people just because they're black. And that's not true at all. I was at Carroll's house one night last week, and he had 2 black people for dinner. And they were delicious. You know, it's a wonderful experience working for Carroll. His success hasn't changed him at all. He's still the same obnoxious slob he always was. Did I say slob? Well, excuse me, at that time I put in an L. Yes, friends, even though Carroll is now a superstar, he never forgets the little people. In fact, right at this moment, he's paying the rent for 3 midget go-go dancers. Carroll's just a regular guy. If you didn't know who he was, you'd never guess that he was a celebrity. Unless you happen to see the star-shaped John in his dressing room. That's where he twinkles. The press is always asking embarrassing questions of me about Carroll. They keep asking, what does Carroll make? And I tell them anything that walks. Incidentally, I wish I could tell you just how the rest of the All in the Family cast feels about Carroll O'Connor. I wish I could tell you how Bob Reiner feels about Carroll O'Connor. I wish I could tell you how Sally Struthers feels about Carroll O'Connor and how Gene Stapleton feels about Carroll O'Connor. None of them is here tonight. So I guess I just told you how they feel about Carroll O'Connor. Thank you.
we're very pleased to have with us tonight the warden of the penitentiary where Truman has been conducting his research. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all please welcome Warden Foster Brooks?
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. Incidentally, your Uncle Rocco sends his best regards. I've gotten to know Truman Capote. I've gotten to know Truman Capote very, very well. Every week he comes to my prison and talks to my... he talks to... What do you call them? Those fellas dress up like zebras? Huh? You're a warden, too? All of the prisoners have grown very fond of Truman. And they really love his book. Especially since we've been having a shortage of supplies in the washrooms. Now, it doesn't matter whom Truman is interviewing, a mugger, an arsonist, a murdered bird, murderer. He always asks very searching and penetrating questions, like, if you had your life to live over, would you live it as a blonde? But Truman Capote is not only interested in reporting the facts, he has a deep humanitarian interest in the rehabilitation of all types of criminals. I once asked him what he thought I should do for my pimps. He told me I should try Clearasil.
Would you all please welcome Mr. Foster Brooks.
Furthermore, that's another story. Friends, it's a great honor and a privilege to be here tonight to pay tribute to this wonderful soup. This wonderful superstar, Raquel Welch. Love your new hairdo, Raquel. That's a wild tan she's got there. I think maybe you might have roasted her a little too low.
Foster, that's a man.
What?
That's a man.
You mean Raquel Welch is a man? You've been drinking, Dean?
Oh, that's not Raquel Welch. That's Hank.
Hank Welch?
No, Aaron.
Oh, Aaron Welch.
Hey, Foster, tell me, what gave you the idea that we were roasting Raquel Welch here tonight?
Well, when you called me on the phone, you said that we were going to roast somebody bigger than Ruth. The only Ruth I know is out to here. It's never been prettier like that.
Right now, I'd like you to meet the person who is responsible for the way Valerie acts and speaks. Her New York drama coach, Mr. Foster Brooks.
I'm sure that very few of you here know that Dean Martin spent a lot of time on the New York stage. And he also spent a lot of time in the New York streets and a few of the alleys. Let me get right to my long time... to my longtime friend and star pupil, Valerie Cooper. When Pamper came to me for speech lessons, she had a speech problem. So I tried the best possible way to straighten it out with tongue twitch. Straighten her out with tongue twisters. Tongue twisters. Like this one. She sells she's by the she. So your sure she by the she. She said, well, now that was her favorite. This is laughing. The Sicilian sponge. The one I always liked was Rubber Baby on the Monkey Bunkers. Rubber Bobby's on the baby bunkers. Bunk! Bunker Bobby on the bunk. Bunk! You just try that one 3 times fast. Or 1 time slow. I'll say one thing about old Harpoon. She never forgets an old friend. She sometimes comes over and lectures classes at my workshop. The Methodist Actors Bar and Grill.
Everybody knows Ted Knight plays a TV anchorman on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, but you may not know Ted was a TV reporter in his hometown for real. With us tonight, a newscaster who worked with Ted, now the owner of KTER in Terryville, Connecticut. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Foster Hinkle.
Ted, I guess your old hometown TV station looks small to you now. As a matter of fact, it is. We didn't have a big audience. Most of the time, the pigeons wouldn't even sit on our antenna. We still signed off around 9 o'clock. Most folks turn off before that. Ed and I were quite a news team. He was green, but he was eager. I'd read the football scores, and Ted would just stand there waving his pom-pom. I broke him in slow. His first assignment was, I believe, was to cover a fire. Remember, Ted? By the time he found the place, the fire was out. That didn't bother Ted. He started it again. Like everybody, Ted has had his share of problems. When World War II broke out, he had a terrible experience with U.S. Army. They took him. A lot of you have been making jokes about Ted's sympathy, how dumb Ted is. But I don't agree, because once, while working for a newspaper, Ted printed an article saying that a man was dead. Next day, the man called and was very much alive and demanded that Ted retract the statement. Ted told him our newspaper never retracts. But I can put you in the birth column tomorrow and give you a fresh start.
I don't think you've seen this man since he, retired from NBC.
Oh.
The former vice president and the executive who created Hollywood Square. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Todson Quigley.
One nice thing about being retired. One nice thing about being retired, you got time for foolishness like this. But I must admit, Peter Maul, our guest tonight has been an entertainer for 30 years. He's made nightclub appearances. He's made Broadway shows. He's made hundreds of TV programs and several housewives who were contestants on his program. And it's truly remarkable. Through all this, his Timex is still ticking. And some of those housewives say that's about the only thing he has still ticking. A hit game show must have something for everyone. Adults, children, degenerates, perverts, and network censors. Oh, I mentioned them. In the early... At the start of game shows, the prizes weren't anything to shout about. There were no furs, no cars, no free vacations. The biggest prize we ever gave was a halfway trip around the world. That poor woman is still in Bangkok trying to get on a game show to win her way back home. I just noticed, you know, when you smiled, you have very, very pretty teeth. Most Hollywood actors have their teeth capped. He has his corked. I don't know how many of you had the pleasure of missing Peter's nightclub act. But I can tell you when he sings, that also is a game. He's off-key so much the audience has to play Name That Tune. All his life, Peter Marshall has loved to play games. On his honeymoon, his wife had to wear a nightie marked door number 3. But, seriously, Peter Marshall is handsome. He has sex appeal. And above all, he's honest and everybody loves him. That's not only my opinion, it's his too.
Dickinson took over the role of Sergeant Pepper Anderson. The police department assigned her their top instructor, Inspector Foster Brooks.
Now, I'd like to turn my attention. I'd like to turn my attention to my favorite female fuzz, Sergeant Pooper. I thought this young lady everything she knows, and whenever I see her on television, my chest swells with pride, and that goes double for her. It's pretty obvious that Sergeant Pooper has great physical attributes. She looks, well, she's built like a brick precinct house. I taught Sergeant Pampers one of my old police tricks. Keep a gun strapped to your ankle. That always worked well for her until one day she was disarmed by a midget mugger. I really enjoyed working with Sergeant Popo. During undercover training, we had a break-up massage parlor. She went in as a masseuse. Well, those people would grab you all over. And I went in as a customer. I solved the case immediately, but I didn't tell you for 2 weeks, remember? In all the time that Sergeant Pippin and I were together, she only did one thing wrong. I took her on a stakeout and told her to be careful. Make sure you don't expose yourself. Unfortunately, she did. And I forgot all about the case. I've gotten to know Truman Capote. I've gotten to know Truman Capote very, very well. Every week he comes to my prison and talks to my he talks to what do you call them? Those fellas dress up like zebras. You a warden too? of the prisoners have grown very fond of Truman. And they really love his book. Especially since we've been having a shortage of supplies in the washrooms. Now, it doesn't matter whom Truman is interviewing, a mugger, an arsonist, a murderer, murderer. He always asks very searching and penetrating questions. Like, you know, it's a wonderful experience working for Carroll. His success hasn't changed him at all. He's still the same obnoxious slob he always was. Did I say slob? Well, excuse me, at that time I put in an L. Yes, friends, even though Carroll is now a superstar, he never forgets the little people. In fact, right at this moment, he's paying the rent for 3 midget go-go dancers. Carroll's just a regular guy. If you didn't know who he was, you'd never guess that he was a celebrity. Unless you happen to see the star-shaped John in his dressing room. That's where he twinkles. The press is always asking embarrassing questions of me about Carroll. They keep asking, what does Carroll make? And I tell them anything that walks. Incidentally, I wish I could tell you just how the rest of the All in the Family cast feels about Carroll O'Connor. I wish I could tell you how Bob Reiner feels about Carroll O'Connor. I wish I could tell you how Sally Struthers feels about Carroll O'Connor and how Gene Stapleton feels about Carroll O'Connor. None of them is here tonight. So I guess I just told you how they feel about Carroll O'Connor. Thank you.
We're very pleased to have with us tonight the warden of the penitentiary where Truman has been conducting his research. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all please welcome Warden Foster Brooks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. Incidentally, your Uncle Rocco sends his best regards.
You know, one of the most important elements in any star's success is public relations. We are very pleased to have with us tonight Carroll O'Connor's PR man. He's one of the biggest PRs in Hollywood. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all please welcome Mr. Foster Brooks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Martini. Many people wonder exactly what service services our public relation man provides to the star. My duties are threefold. First, it is my job to create It's my job to create a public image for the star. And second, I have to see that the star constantly receives favorable mention in the press. And thirdly, I must see that he has plenty of broads on the road. With Carroll, the most difficult part of my job is convincing people that he is not like the character he plays in All in the Family. People are always confusing Carroll Bunker with Archie O'Connell. But of course, they're totally different personalities. Archie is a right-winger. And in the last election, Carroll was McGovern's man. At least until Eleanor McGovern made him break it up. People are always mixing up Carroll and Archie. They think Carroll hates people just because they're black. And that's not true at all. I was at Carroll's house one night last week, and he had 2 black people for dinner. And they were delicious.